Yo, welcome to this video on how I beat Slay The Spire 1 HP without taking any damage. If you like human suffering in video games, then you're gonna love this video because, well, it took me many hours to get here. But this is the winning run and I really hope you enjoy. Okay, so as usual, we start by looking at the map, checking any elite paths, and then we're very glad to see the two bugs here, the two louse. Previously, you get the fucking jaw worm, no bueno. Don't like seeing the jaw one. Pretty standard start though. We block whenever we can, making sure we survive because we can't take damage. And then you just clear off the louse as you can, break the armor, knock them down, get annoyed by the weakening. And look at that, blade dance at the start, incredible way to begin. Basically 12 damage for 1 mana. It just means that we have a very cheap and efficient way to deal damage. But also, that's one of the archetypes for decks that typically get quite far and typically succeed because it's a way to have a massive amount of damage output for very little cost. It also synergizes very well with a bunch of different cards. So we're very happy to see Blade Dance quite early. Bonfire Spirit's very interesting to see, especially quite early in the run. Rarely is it actually going to be of use in these 1 HP runs, basically just card disposal. And since we're trying to survive, survival is more important than dealing damage. And because we've got those shivs, it means that we don't need strikes as much. So it's worth having more blocks than it is strikes. And then we get shop. So shop quite early is nice because it allows you to survive the floor and also pick up potions. And potions, I didn't realize this until after many attempts, but potions are actually incredibly useful for staying alive. In fact, they're one of the most important things, especially earlier in the run, and especially when it comes to elites and bosses. So of the pickups here, we have Escape Plan and Footwork, which are the main things I got my eye on, and there's Sneaky Strike as well, but I'm not running any discard at this point, so it's not really worth it. For 2 costs, it's not going to get played that often. Dexterity though, absolutely huge in this run, so Footwork is a massive pickup. It's basically exponential value. Like, the more we can play this card, the more it impacts all of my blocks, and the longer the fight goes on, the more value it provides me, and one of the best cards I can play to actually ensure that I'm surviving. And then we get back-to-back shops. So back-to-back shops are fine. Unfortunately, we don't have enough gold to buy anything more, but it does mean that we survive another floor. And surviving floors is very important because the more floors we can survive, the more cards we can add, the more likely we are to survive, the sooner we can reach upgrades, the sooner we can reach relics, the sooner we can reach stuff that's actually going to keep us alive and make us be able to deal more damage and slay more enemies. Cultist is nice and easy, especially this far into the Spire. Masterful Stab is absolutely massive. This is such a huge, useful card on this 1 HP challenge because basically you always take it because it always does 16 damage for 0 cost. Because you're never taking damage. The reason it's so powerful is because the point of our run is to not take any damage. And because we're not taking damage, because taking damage means we would literally die, it's always going to be 0 cost. There are exceptions. For example, if you have the Fairy Potion, which I have encountered several times, it actually goes up to 1. But even 1 cost 16 damage is still very powerful. So immediate upgrade, get that up to 16 damage. Then we face the Jaw Worm again. So we've got Blade Dance, we've got lots of tools to deal damage and stay alive. This isn't as difficult as it would be on the first. We absolutely hate seeing it at the start of a run. It's one of the most annoying starting enemies for us to face. But this late on, it's not really a problem at all. Unless it's paired with something, then it's a bit of a pain in the arse. But anyway, we swiftly deal with that. Pick up Swift Potion in exchange. Then we have an option between Dagger Throw and Poison Stab. But like, we're never going to take Poison Stab because we've already started establishing our archetype, which is Blade Dance and staying alive with Footwork. So we have 2 goals with these decks. Is always stay alive for as long as we can and deal as much damage as we can. I mean, obviously, but you kind of have to juggle between the two when you're building a deck because you have to stay alive. You can't afford to take damage, but you also have to kill the enemy as fast as you can so they can deal less damage to you over time because we don't have the luxury of taking any hits. So at any point, we're trying to streamline our deck archetype as best we can and to deal as much damage as we can and stay alive for as long as we can. So messing around with doing a poison deck and a shiv deck and a dexterity deck and a discard deck, it just doesn't make sense. Whereas Dagger Throw is always going to be valuable because it means that I can cycle, and there are a lot of cards that synergize with discard that actually work really well in this format. It's a very safe card to pick up quite early in a 1 HP run. One of the beautiful things about these runs is that you never healing. Every campfire is an opportunity to smith and to upgrade a card. So we're going to upgrade our dexterity because that gets exponentially stronger by upgrading to 3 dexterity instead of 2, especially when you're running with 1 HP, because it's just extra block for 0 cost. If you play it and then you get 1 block played, then like it's basically kept you alive. If you play it and you get to play 2 blocks, then it's played the cost of a block for free, and the rest is just pure gains. This is very good at keeping you alive. It also means that you can deal more damage because you're spending less energy on blocking, so you can deal more energy towards dealing damage. Now this relic pickup is absolutely huge. I didn't realize it at the time, but Gambling Chip is an incredible relic to have, especially this early, because it means that I can basically guarantee that I have cards in my hand on the first turn that I want to play, which is huge, because it means that if I am getting attacked, then I can have enough block in my hand. If I'm not getting attacked, I can get rid of all my block and maximize my damage output. Both of these are really useful when I'm trying to use my resources as best I can. Moving on, awesome to see back-to-back relic chests. Whetstone is absolutely fine, but we do get 2 pickups that aren't strikes that get upgraded. Neutralize, we love being upgraded because double weak means 2 turns a week, means that we're not actually taking as much damage, which means we stay alive for longer. And Dagger Throw just being upgraded is a nice bit of extra damage, which is always useful. I can never collect the money at World of Goop, so that's just like lose some gold. Upgrade Blade Dance, deal more damage. It also synergizes more with other cards later. This is great. Shining Light is also a very nice unknown room we like to encounter because it's upgrade 2 cards for free. Part of the beauty of these 1 HP runs is that because you have 1 max HP, when all of the damage calculations that are based on percentage max HP are done, such as Shining Light, where you take a percentage of damage based on your max HP. When your max HP is 1, then the damage you get dealt is 0, so you just get an upgrade for free, which is incredible. So that's kind of part of the reason we like going for these unknown routes during these runs. It's also a way to ensure that we stay alive for longer. Then you see me checking out the Gambling Chip there. That's me realizing that, oh wait, this is actually a useful thing, and that I can only use it at the start of combat rather than the start of each turn, which is kind of what I was hoping for. Now I get a pure damage hand, but that's not a problem because I have a hell of a load of damage to deal. Then I get 3 options here. I don't particularly want any of those. None of them align with the archetype. Like, okay, Poison Stab might have done damage, but not enough to justify it, which means my Smith upgrade is literally, I've upgraded all my non-starting cards. So it's between strikes and defense are going to keep me alive for longer. And then finally onto the boss. So of the bosses, we actually see Hexaghost the most often. Then it's the spiky guy, whose name I've forgotten. And then it's the slime. We've got a handful of attacks here. So I'm going to get rid of the weak attacks because I know that I have 2 potential attacks, and I'll see if there's anything better that I can get, particularly Footwork, so we're extremely happy to see that. Footwork so early means that we don't have to pay it later on, and it's in a turn where I've got lots of attacks to pay anyway. Not a great hand to follow it though. We've got 4 defends and a way to cycle, so okay, yeah, we'll do some damage. One of the beautiful things about playing as the Silent against the Hexaghost on 1 HP, the Hexaghost big attack deals damage based off your max HP. So I'm not sure the actual calculations, but it's a percentage of your max HP. And so because we're playing on 1 max HP, it's going to do 1 times 6 damage, which is 6, of course, but it's 1 times 6. So if I make it weak, then that reduces it to 0, which is why we love having that weakness card, because I'm not going to take any damage, which is basically a free turn of dealing more damage. Get a nice big damage hand again with the Masterful Stab and Blade Dance, so that's a lot of damage, like 32 damage that we can just dish out like that. Boom, retaliates with a burn, we're not concerned. Neutralize, so we can reduce its damage because it's based on our max HP. Make sure we survive. A single block is good enough because we've got our dexterity in place. Survivor to discard the burn and just survive, and then deal as much damage as we can. Masterful Stab and Blade Dance combo again, and the Dagger Throw, that makes it our biggest damage turn that we can do theoretically. And luckily it's not attacking us, so we can just maximise our damage output there. This hand is a bit rough. I've got 1 block and I've got to defend 14 damage, so I have no choice but to use a potion here. I figured that drawing is the best option because I haven't seen many defends in this cycle of the deck, so luckily we do pull some defends and are able to survive. Next turn, Masterful Stab, that's great, and then just playing all our cards because there's nothing else to do. So I have the attack, our burns are starting to stack up, so we really need to kill this fast, and now we've got a huge damage turn coming in, so I can barely survive with a potion. I don't realise this at the time, but I almost die here. I almost give up this entire run, the winning run, because I almost misplay. If I didn't discard the burn, then I wouldn't survive. And I wasn't thinking I'd do it. I habitually discarded the burn, but I thought that the damage that I was getting dealt was 12 rather than 18, and that the burn would take me over to 14 or something like that, because I was like counting a number of different things in my head and I got confused. But luckily it was an exact amount, and that kept us alive, which meant we could go on and do this. Play my blade dance, deal 16 damage, bish bash bosh, boom, huge, dagger throw, nice. We cycle, we put another card, making sure we stay alive. Things are starting to stack up. Awful turn with the amount of burn we get, but fortunately I have exact lethal with the explosive potion, otherwise we would be dead there. So that is an incredible way to kill that boss. Then for the choice of rewards, ignoring the Snecko potion, we have Adrenaline, Alchemize, and Phantasmal Killer. Usually I gravitate towards Adrenaline because it works in any deck archetype. It's basically draw 2 cards for free and gain a free energy. It's super useful. There's not a situation in which that isn't useful, because you can always deal with drawing more cards and you can always deal with having more energy. But for some reason, I really like Alchemize in this situation, and it's the right pickup because it saves my life several times. Because by this point I've recognised the value of potions. So I'm like, well, actually, having a potion basically every combat is incredible, and it means that I can create a backlog of 3 potions if I need to, or if I don't need to play any potions to survive, then I can just stay on top and have a backlog of potions, which is one of the things that actually gets this run through to the end. So we definitely pick up the Alchemize. And then relic rewards. So these aren't... This is actually a really bad selection of relics. We don't like these at all. We're not taking Sozu because why would we? We just took that potion card. So my head was thinking, well, I just decided to play potions. I don't know if it actually works in that you can obtain potions from cards or not, so that would still be good. But I was thinking, well, I'm not going to waste that card I just added. I've kind of gone all in on potions at this point. So that was a definite no. Then we have Fusion Hammer, which is you can't smith at rest sites. Well, then what am I doing at rest sites? Rest sites become irrelevant. Like, why the fuck would I take that? Smithing is actually one of the best things that I can be doing, because otherwise I'm not healing, so I'm just wasting a floor for no reason. Which means we're left with either skipping a relic, a boss relic, or taking the Busted Crown. And I was pretty comfortable with my deck at the moment, so I thought, well, I can rely on shops, and I can rely on events, and I can rely on single card pickups, and having an extra energy means that I can deal more damage and stay alive more. So I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do that. We'll take the crown. Then we do our scout. We check what route has the least elites, because elites are often the thing that ends these runs. So we try and avoid them wherever we can, because they're just unpredictable. Always a gamble. And then we get this guy, the floating eyeball, for our enemy here. So gambling chip is pretty good because it means that we can get rid of all of our useless defends and footwork and stuff. But actually we decide to hold on to footwork, and Neutralize will play to get rid of the artifact. Masterful Stab we love to see. Blade Dance we also love to see, deal a bunch of damage. We're going to drop our footwork here, and then Alchemize for a free potion. Play defend because we've got no reason not to. Then we see that it's about to do some damage, so like, well, we've got enough to survive that with Survivor. Survive that. Got a Blade Dance, we're always playing that, it's maximising our damage. Can we do enough damage with Strike alone? No, we can't, so we have to play Defense. Fortunately, I didn't realise we have Frail, but if I played a Strike there, I would have died, and I almost did. I was like, well, it's better to just survive, and I realised 20 damage is a lot, so I might as well, without doing the maths, play as many defences as I can to ensure that I maximise that, and it just happens to be the exact amount. We draw enough damage the next turn to finish it off, so happy days, we like to see that. Now this is the first card choice we get with a single card. So I'll just check the deck and see, okay, is there anything useful that I could add? Is Acrobatics a useful card? Well, typically I found that it works very nicely in runs because it means that I can look for the cards that I need and the cards that I want. And I don't really have any draw at the moment, so I thought, okay, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Then we find Noloth. Now, Noloth is huge. It's a very, very interesting rune to encounter. Now, I can debate between the two. So I was looking at Whetstone and Busted Crown. Busted Crown is what we just picked up and basically just decided, well, I've just gone all in on only picking up one card, and I've just picked up a card that is useful from a single card choice. And Whetstone, I was debating, do I unupgrade the cards? And I thought, well, surely not. So trading Whetstone is basically trade for free. So obviously I'm going to do that. And then we stick with the safe route as usual. We encounter the two bandit thug things that are going to take my money. We maximize the amount of damage we can get with Blade Dance, but we also need to block for 20, which is quite a lot, especially when I don't have many cards. So I'm just getting rid of all of my unnecessary cards at this point. Keeping Acrobatics because it's basically draw 3 potential blocks. Fortunately, we do get enough block here to survive, especially with Neutralize. Brings it down to 17, so we have to block for 17 damage, which we do have to play all of our defense here. But because we've got 4 energy, we can afford to play the Blade Dance too. Deal some damage to the front thug, and away you go. They request my gold. No, they don't. They steal my gold. So we're going to teach them a fucking lesson, aren't we? If we had any attacks, which we do not. We just have defense. So we're going to defend. Okay, strike. Yeah, the looter is alive, annoyingly. But fine. Okay, annoyingly, the back one is still alive. And is preparing to escape. So let's just deal with the front one, making sure it's dead. And then hope that the next turn we get enough damage. And based on my draw, it looks like we will. Masterful Stab, Neutralize as well, and a Dagger Throw. I think that's probably enough damage. I have to deal with 39. I've got 16 plus 12 is 28, 32. Perhaps with the draw, but I thought, well, no, I'm not taking any chances. I just want my gold. Gold is an incredibly useful resource, particularly when I only get 1 card choice. So I'm going to throw the vulnerable, deal enough damage, make sure it's dead. I would have got enough damage with strike, maybe, I don't know. And then we have the card choice of Poison Stab. We're going to skip it because we don't want to mix our deck archetypes. And immediately it was worthwhile keeping that gold because we get the shop. Now looking over, there's a few choices. Sneaky Strike on sale is really nice, particularly when we've got 2 or 3 discards potentially in my deck. So I am considering this quite a bit, but then I think I'm aware that there's another shop coming up soon. So I want to keep some gold, and then I also recognise the value of potions. I do spend some time looking at the Frozen Eye relic, thinking it might be useful, particularly when I've got the draw, but that compared to like survivability and potentially getting something better later, I recognise that I'm low on cards, so I want some money for cards later. Happy Flower would be nice, but I'm on 4 energy already, so it's like, well, there's no point picking that up. Nothing worth removing. The other cards don't really tempt me, so now we're just looking at potions. So it's between the Plated Armour and the Liquid Memories. Or Distilled Chaos could be nice, but I like understanding and knowing what I'm going to play. Unless it's a bit of a fun last resort. End up going for Liquid Memories by pure habit. I didn't particularly consider, I just knew that I wanted to pick up a potion. So I grabbed that one. On to the next fight, we have this not very nice combination, particularly for this early, but it's fine. So we have enough damage here, we basically just need to survive and deal as much damage as we can. Dealing with the cultist is typically a better plan because I have more attacks and lots of damage, so I can deal with that pretty quickly. Then the other dude's just going to play his debuff, which is not what we like to see. It actually does end up costing me quite a few runs in the past, having too many dazed in my deck because I have to survive because I need to block. But thankfully this time we get quite high dexterity and quite high block cards, so I can just survive for a single block rather than having to play like 2 defends and getting 2 dazed as a result. Like here, for example, I have an upgraded defend plus the 3 dexterity, which means I only have to play 1 defend rather than 2, which means I have 1 less dazed in my deck. Here we have a bunch of damage and then 2 defends, but with the dexterity it's enough to keep us alive. It's on 17, and we just like clear that out next turn. If we didn't get bad cards, so now I'm like, oh, well, what do I do? I have a couple of options. Liquid Memories, there's nothing in my cards, so I can just Snake Oil, hope I get some damage. There's a Dagger Throw, we're definitely playing that, and then follow it up with the Strike to kill it. Block Potion we love to see. Backflip is not bad, so we're just immediately taking that. It's a great card because it means that we survive for longer and we draw cards. So it's just a better defend, and we're happy to see that. Now we upgrade the Alchemize because it's incredible. Get a free potion every combat. It costs me nothing, and I always get to play it, and I can keep a backlog of potions if I need to. I'm already maxed out at 3, so it means that I get to use a potion every combat for free. That's great. Now we see that we're facing the triple cultist stack. So I'm like, well, Alchemize useful keeping typically. Don't need any of those blocks, so we'll just get rid of those. Footwork is nice to keep, but I keep the backflip for draw reasons, and then I keep the survivor. I actually don't know why I kept the survivor, but play the damage, play the dex, play the Masterful Stab, play the potions. We get another potion. Then we draw. And then we've just got 2 damage cards. Kill the weakest cultist so that we can get rid of those ASAP and minimise the amount of damage that we're going to be taking. Dagger Throw quite nicely finishes that off and gives us an opportunity to draw. We have enough block with the 2, especially when we neutralize one of them. So that's only 10. We can block for that easily. Deal the damage, no problem. Blade Dance, really nice to see. So we're just going to play Dance, deal a bunch of damage and defend. Pretty standard stuff for a run like this. But for 16, that is more than the 15 that they're dealing. Masterful Stab, that's like great. That means that we're very likely killing that back cultist. Now we just need to think about surviving. But as always, we draw first, because drawing first means that I can base my decisions based on the most relevant information and all the information that I have. So actually I decide for some reason to go over and block for more than I need to, but it's fine. We're still strong. We don't need to worry about potentially being killed because we just have a really strong deck at this point. Now I'm thinking, well, can I kill both of these in the same turn? I don't know why I chose to just draw 2 instead of 3 here, because actually I think it was the block, but it turns out I just get the damage anyway, which means we can deal with that. Deal with the back cultist. We don't actually have enough, but that's fine. Block his attack. I am forced to survive again, so we'll just like gain a bunch of block and survive his attack, no problem with me. And then just kill it on the next turn, no probs. Terror, our single choice. Do we take it? Yes, we do. Of course we do. That is like one of our best damage dealers, especially when we've got multiple cheap damage dealers. We've got a Blade Dance and we've got the Masterful Stab. That's a way to deal a bunch of damage for free, particularly when it comes to big bosses and like chunkier enemies who have lots of health and don't have like lots of minions to deal with and shit. And it's really nice when it's upgraded too. We're actually getting really good luck with that Busted Crown single card choice. Then we get the shop, look at the Piercing Whale. I think it's Piercing Whale, but it's on sale. The Piercing Whale is on sale, which we will take. Or will we? Which we won't take, because I actually have no reason. I probably should have taken it there, but I end up taking the damage and the block, which is a nice combo. It's much more acceptable to take that card when I've got 4 energy each turn rather than 3, because it means that I can actually do other stuff as well. It means that I've always got consistent output. Art of War is actually a useful relic. I've played many runs without any useful relics, and having a useful relic is nice. Now, this decision here is the single thing that changes the run. This is the single decision that wins me the run. I was debating, do I avoid the elite or do I go for an elite? Because if I go this way, I have to face an elite. And if I'm going to face an elite, well, I'm going to go the way of the campfire, right? Because I just get better value that way. So it's a toss-up between, well, do I go the safe route with 2 enemies, or do I go the difficult route with an unknown and then an elite? The elite means a relic. And I am feeling very strong. I've got 3 potions, I've got a really solid deck, and I'm feeling confident as well going into it. I've just had a series of really strong battles that I haven't really been worrying about at all. So I'm like, actually, okay, yeah, fine, I can go for it. Turns out, what we get is the single event that changes the run completely. We are so excited to see this, because as I mentioned before, percentage damage is based on max HP. And because we only have 1 max HP, I'm taking 0 max HP damage. So I'm effectively gaining 5 intangible for free, which when you're playing on 1 HP is incredible, to say the least. That's an understatement. It means that on 5 turns, I can effectively guarantee that I survive. Going into this elite is a breeze. Now, I didn't actually want to see this Painful Stabs guy, but it's absolutely fine. Like, I've got 2 apparitions now. We're chilling. We are absolutely chilling. Yeah, it can deal lots of damage typically, but not if I've got intangible. Like, easy. So we just got to make sure we block every turn, because obviously if I take intangible and then no block, it still kills me. I have 1 HP. But intangible does stack. So making sure that we can survive 2 turns in a row, because these are ethereal, which means if I don't play them, they won't get played at all. So not playing them would be a massive waste. And then we're running low on energy. What do we do to decide? Well, I've got a free potion here. Might as well play it, might as well get a strength to ensure that I can kill this elite as soon as possible before it starts scaling and before my intangible runs out. Again, we get quite lucky and double intangible here. So we've now got 2 turns of basic guaranteed survival. Play another because we have it and it'd be stupid not to. Then we do some damage and block to survive. Another turn where we don't actually have any block this turn. So priority number 1 is making sure we draw some block. We actually don't get any, but thankfully we have that block potion, which means we can survive. Now we've got the vulnerable, so we just get to deal a bunch of damage for free. Awesome stuff. Maximize our damage output. Then we have 1 more turn of intangible. So I'm like, well, okay, I'm going to make sure I do my blade dance and deal a bunch of damage. That's what, 24 damage, if not more. And then we're just like, well, let's cycle through, make sure I survive because of intangible in a single block. And then we just kill it on this turn, surely. Dagger Throw to kill it, and then we pick up our relic. Now, Preserved Insect is not great because I'm trying to avoid elites, but it does mean that if I do have to encounter elite, or if I do fancy going for an elite, it is one way to basically increase the likelihood of success with that. So we kill the knife, no props. For the rewards, the card reward is Finisher. Now I'm a bit like unsure whether to take this, but I was like, fuck it, let's do it. I've got the blade dance, I've got 0 cost attacks, so we're just gonna do it. And then I took it, thinking about upgrading it, but actually upgrading Terror is far better because dealing double damage for free seems pretty good. Then we're into the shop. So shop is absolutely fine. I'm looking, is there anything that complements my deck? The Reflex is what caught my eye, but actually they don't realise Burst. Burst could be huge. Burst is basically gain 1 intangible for free, or just survive longer with a defend. Burst is incredible. This card probably saved my life more times than I can count. Or like get 2 potions. So I'm thinking, okay, draw 6 cards, deal an extra 16 damage, you get 2 potions, or gain double intangible. Why wouldn't I take that? That's an incredible deal, especially on the sale. And then I can't afford anything else, so I'm like, okay, fuck it. Then I look at my potions. Well, I can afford a strength potion or a flex potion, and regen is nothing to me, so that's a wasted slot. We're about to face a boss, so it's worthwhile having as much damage as I physically can have. And then, oh god, Snecko. Oh, I hate this enemy so much. I hate Snecko. It's killed so many runs. Are you fucking kidding me? With this deck? Are you kidding me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 cards would have saved me of 24. A third of my deck would have saved me. A third? No, fucking more than that. A week. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. What the fuck? I hate this game. What the fuck? Oh, I fucking hate Snecko. I'm done. I'm fucking done. Oh, I hate Snecko. Especially on a deck like this. This fucking snake. The randomization on a low cost deck, especially when I've got like apparitions and stuff, and then I have to deal damage, and then I have to block when it goes vulnerable. I hate it. I hate playing against this fucking enemy. So we'll begin by gambling, of course. We'll see what we get rid of. Defend, no use for. The apparitions, I have no use for. I'll be wasting them at this point. Searching for dexterity, which we thankfully do get, and as much damage as we can. So we play our blade dance, we play our bash, or whatever that card's called. Then we get perplexed. So it's a bit like, I am in a bit of a mess now, so I'm kind of forced to play Liquid Memories if I want to survive. And then follow with an apparition, maybe. But apparition is no good. If I'm going to have to block, then I might as well do some damage. We'll take the free potion from Alchemize, see what it is. Ends up being a fire potion, deal 20 damage. Like, that's fine. Not what I'd have liked to see, but whatever. I actually don't need to play apparition, and it's worth doing more damage instead, so we do that. Now we get a free apparition, so intangible for free, SPs, I'll take that. We'll draw as usual. I'll save that apparition for the future because I don't need it right now, and it might be cheaper. And then I'm like, well, I'll do some damage, see if I can kill the snake, get it off my screen, please. Then we're looking at Blade Dance, which is 16 doubled, 6, 12, 18, 24 damage, and then a fire potion to finish off the snake. Goodbye. Get out of here. Slice is irrelevant, we don't need that, it's just the shit card, fluffs up the deck, no reason for it. Then we decide to upgrade an Apparition because the alternatives, I should have upgraded Burst, to be honest, because that's basically double intangible. But I thought, well, if I can keep an intangible around for whatever reason, if it keeps me alive, because I don't play it now and I can play it again later, then I'm going to do that. And then we face the Collector. So, begin by just discarding my entire hand. I'm looking for setup or as much damage as I can possibly get. Blade Dance mainly, and Masterful Stab. I get the Vulnerable and then the Flex Potion into Masterful Stab and double Blade Dance. Absolutely huge amount of damage. Really nice to start that off with 120 plus damage. And then a Potion to welcome it back. Then I'm like, actually, well, fuck it. I might get some damage here. Instead I end up getting 2 Apparitions and a Dexterity, which is, I'm happy with that, to be honest. And yeah, so always start by drawing, see what we get. Double Apparition, well, I'll discard the one that would be ethereal, then just gain some more damage. I see the burst, but I'm like, fine. I will just survive and deal some damage. That's basically how it goes, survive and deal damage. The minions and the big dude hits back, but we're like, nah, mate, I'm a ghost. Yeah. So we draw, Acrobatics draw. I don't know why I got rid of Backflip, because that would have been extra draw, but I must have been thinking to Apparition and then defend and Blade Dance. Maximize damage output. I lose an Apparition here. I shouldn't have swapped that. I should have swapped the Apparition for Backflip, but no problem. We're still trying to kill the big dude, and we can block with 19 to stop this 14 damage. He debuffs us, but we're like, alright, fine, whatever. We got an Apparition, so we can chill, save that damage. I've also got damage that I can deal and block that I can gain naturally. So we just aim for the big dude. He's on low HP, let's just try and kill him. I can save the Apparition for later, is kind of what I'm thinking. But then I'm like, well, realistically, I probably won't get another chance to play it. So we'll do that now. And it means that I can deal an extra 6 damage now, which might make a difference. And then we see, oh, that's a lot of damage, and I don't have intangible. And how do I survive? But then I'm like, nah, we'll just double Blade Dance and have exact, well, not exact, but our cards add up to lethal, which is great. Then we see Envenom. Is that useful? I have a lot of cheap cards, so yeah, right, I'll take it. A little bit expensive, a little bit spenny, but it's fine. It's a bit extra damage that, well, if we can play it early on, and we've got enough energy for it, and then we've got a bunch of Blade Dances, so it's fine. And then we see the Wrist Blade. Holy, this is incredible. This is like, yes. I have Masterful Stab, which is now 20 damage, and I have Blade Dance, which is now like 8, 16, 24, 32 damage. That's huge. I could have taken the draw an extra card, but like I was like, nah, I've already got enough draw, and like that's just too much damage. I haven't got one of those accuracy skills yet, where I gain an extra 4 damage. Really would have liked to have seen that. Yeah, so first enemy of Act 3 is these blobs. Blobs aren't great. They're kind of annoying because you have to deal with all 3, and I've got to juggle dealing damage but also staying alive. I mean, as usual. So we're always going to take the potion. Apparition is really nice for dealing with these though, because it means that I only have to block once and I can focus on dealing damage. Oh, almost slipped there. Almost. Just like let them kill me. And now we've got Envenom. Apparition we're always playing because, well, I have no reason not to. Adding up, well, 2 + 1 + 1 = 4, which is less than 8. So we'll deal a power when we've got it. And then just block. Masterful Stab, we're distributing our damage. I don't know if this is the best strategy, but I find that I just end up doing it either way. So distribute damage among these little dudes, and then once I can kill them, I kill them. Play the double apparition here because like I've got the intangible, might as well use it. Or we deal damage, but then I'm like, well, we can get that other one low, but like the strike wouldn't make a difference because they got blocked. So we'll just take the extra intangible for next turn, so I can focus on dealing damage and staying alive in other means. We're going to vulnerable to maximise our damage output on the healthiest blob. Draw, see what we get. We get another attack, and we've got an apparition that's going to fade away if we don't use it, so we will use it. Then we're just like, that's like $signs if $signs were damage. I'm like, yes please, I'm gonna just kill you all. And then, we get another Blade Dance. Oh my god, this is like heaven at this point. It's like, holy shit, this is the run, this is the run, this is the run. Because I have so much potential damage and survivability and actually good relics. None of my relics are bad. Normally they are. Normally I have like gain max HP or whenever you take damage, reduce that damage. I'm like, yeah, thanks. I'm not taking damage. Then we get the option to take potions. I've got 1 free slot, so I'm going to take it. Not a useful potion, but it's like, alright, fine, whatever, no probs. Then we're facing these things. I've heard them called shapes before, so I guess they're called the shapes. Envenom is too expensive. I need to block. I have Apparition and I also need to deal damage. I don't like that there is the Exploder because I have to block that, which is a lot. And the Spiker, I'm like, oh fuck. What if I take 3 damage? Does it work with intangible? I don't know. So I just like stack up the block to make sure I have enough to survive a single hit. See what happens. I'm playing Shiv either way, and then we'll deal as much damage as we can in a single strike. Turns out we only take 1 damage. Fantastic. Goodbye, Spiker. Get out of here. Get off my screen. And then we'll kill the Exploder second, because that's going to deal some damage otherwise. Then we get the second Blade Dance. We're absolutely chilling at this point. Just like, kill it. Goodbye. Get off my screen. Moving on to next. Oh, Shiv plus. Yes, please. That's so much damage in the future when I need it. And it turns out we need it like immediately. This guy's pretty scary because dealing damage is how I survive, but there's like a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it. Like if I reduce the strength, if I make them weak, how's the calculation? And my brain just wasn't with it. So I'm like, well, it's a bit tricky because I'm trying to juggle between dealing enough damage and having enough block. I actually don't know why I'm considering moving the Masterful Stab. There is no reason to. I'm just like, yeah, let me just focus on survival. And then I'm like, oh wait, Apparition. Yeah, let's do that. If I can Apparition for 5 turns and just block on those turns, I just wait it out. So if I can ensure that I get 5 Apparition up and playing double Apparition plus the burst Apparition, like, all I gotta do is live. There's the other Apparition. Now I'm chilling. I'm like, okay, well, might as well play the decks, might as well draw some cards. And might as well make it vulnerable, so it takes more damage. Apparition. Looking, is there anything worth drawing that's going to be cheap? No, so I'm not going to draw, but we'll get a defend up, so we survive always. Fantastic. There's the rest of the apparitions. Happy days. We have now passed this enemy. No problem at all. We just have to draw a block each turn. That's it. And with a snake oil potion, then I'm like, I'm pretty confident I can get a block in every turn, so I'm just chilling at this point. Play damage for the fun of it. Because you can't lie. Blade dancing into a bunch of ships is great fun. Concentrate and consider. But I'm like, well, discarding 3 cards is a bit shit. There's way too many to discard. Now I'm like, ooh, elite. I've got that preserved insect and I've got 3 potions. Let's go for it. Well, there goes all of my gold. But I do get this red mask relic in exchange. This is huge. It deals with artifacts very nicely, which is great. Comes in useful. And it also means that I increase my chances of surviving. Now, like, I wasn't really going to use gold anyway, because I'm comfortable with my deck. And the only other things that I'd be buying are cards. And I'm comfortable with my deck. And getting a relic is huge. Like, relics on a 1 HP run, because you don't get as many opportunities because you're not facing elites as often. Relics are great, mate. Relics are incredible. And because I'm skipping enemies for unknown rooms, I don't get as much gold to spend at shops to buy relics. So we end up facing this big head. Now I'm thinking, well, let's just do the Apparition strat again. That worked really well last time, kept me alive. But then also we need to kill it. We actually have to kill this one, so let's get some damage down. Oh, I have a Blade Dance and a finisher. I'm gonna just like deal a bunch of shiv damage and then finish it off as much as I can. Goodbye, like 200 HP turn 1. Then I'm like, well, I've got Envenom, I've got Defend. I never seem to play the right order. I always attack before I play the cards that reduce the stuff. But it's whatever. I've got a solid enough deck. Usually it's, have you got a good deck? Yes, then you pass. Have you got a bad deck? Yes, then you fail. Like, if you haven't got a good deck, you don't get through the head. Now we're just like, let's just deal as much damage as possible, make sure we can survive with our apparitions. Make sure we've got a defend that keeps us alive. There's a backflip. Now we're chilling. Terror, I'm actually looking. Oh, what do I do? So I end up getting rid of the Dagger Throw because I value just the utility of the other cards. So like free terror, so I can deal more damage in the future. Let's like Apparition, so I'm staying alive with tangible. And I was gonna let the other Apparition discard naturally, but I get another one which is like, there. But fine. Now I'm just like, well, can I deal 82 damage when I've got 5 poison and a bunch of vulnerable? Oh, there's the Blade Dance, there's the answer. There goes the head, and there goes the bag of marbles. Oh my. Now we have 2 relics that get rid of Artifact, and guess who we're facing? The fucking donuts, who have Artifact. So we're just chilling immediately, which means I can like weak them, I can, well, I don't really know what else I can do, but it means that going into a battle, at the start of the battle, we are at a significant advantage now. End up not taking the card, even though it would actually be good. As a card itself, it's not very useful. Envenom is a little bit too costly for me, so I'm like, right, I'm just gonna upgrade that when I can. Then we face the shark dude, Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Throwback. Apparition strat seems to be working incredibly well. But I end up just not going for it and maximizing damage instead. So there's the vulnerable. There is the combo, the Blade Dance. Ooh, I could do draw, and ooh, it's another Blade Dance. Grab the free potion, double Apparition, so I've got no damage next turn, and then we'll just deal a bunch of damage to start things off. We get weakened, but we don't really care. We've got so much damage and survivability anyway that it's just not going to make a difference. And with our Apparition, we just deal a bunch of damage and survive. Next, we've got our Burst Apparition combo, we've got Envenom, Blade Dance combo, and then we've got a free Masterful Stab. So it's like, well, we're playing all of these cards, aren't we? I'm just thinking, what order do I play them? Well, obviously, we play Burst before Apparition. Oh, we double Blade Dance because we want the damage. 9 damage each. Okay, I will fucking take that. Masterful Stab. Then I'm like, oh, well, I actually don't know why I Snicker Watch, but I was like, fuck it, let's do it. Why not? I'm never going to use it anyway properly. It's just too random, and this dude is kind of annoying, so well, let's just get rid of it. Then I've got the Blade Dance finisher combo. We will Dagger Throw to see if there's anything else worthwhile. Get rid of the Apparition before it fades away. Deal a bunch of damage and finisher, and the poison combo. Oh, and we can sit back, relax, press that E key, or attack it until we end up attacking it. And the Blade Dance number 3. The Blade Dance the 3rd. We now have 3 Blade Dances with marbles and wrist blade. And then we just get a fucking useless relic to top it off. Well, it wouldn't be a 1 HP run if I didn't have some useless relic. This late in the run is a bit shit, but it's like, alright, fine, whatever. I've got a solid deck. Burst is great because that's what I should have done earlier. Double Apparition, double Blade Dance, happy days. Entropic Brew, ooh, very nice because I get free potions, even more. And potions are super useful for staying alive. So I'm looking through, is there anything else that I can synergize with? Well, Reflex, is it useful? Bullet Time is what I was mostly considering. I'm like, well, okay, fuck it, let's do it. It's on sale. I have pretty big hands anyway. Once I've drawn, and I've got 4 mana, so might as well use it, and I can buy that. Do I really need potions? I've got the 3 potions, so I'm like, fuck it. This is Neo. This run is the one, because I'm Neo. So let's go bullet time. And then I see that I can also pick up a quick slash, which is extra draw before I play bullet time. So I'm like, alright, why not? Okay, so we face the tentacle hentai dude. What do we do to survive? Well, we're going to keep the damage in my hand, because why not? So I maximise my mana, and there's dexterity. We're always going to play that. Just ensures we help stay alive. Now I'm just trying to add things up. Do I play Flex Potion now? Deal a bunch of damage? I've got a lot of attacks in my hand, so why not? Playing 2 strikes with the Flex Potion and the vulnerability is better than a dash, and I don't need to block, so we end up doing that. Then we see we've got a hand, we're about to take a bunch of damage. I've got Apparition and Defend, but we'll always draw first. Blade Dance, we'd love to see that. Basically means that we're in the clear. So we'll Blade Dance, deal it, we can kill it right now. Boom, don't have to Apparition after all. Pick up the Strength Potion, happy days. Endless Agony is a waste. I'm not going to take the max HP here because, like, I don't need HP, come on. And then, if things couldn't get better, we end up with the Duplicator. We can duplicate any card in the deck, so I'm like, this is a huge decision. I'm thinking this could be the single most important decision of the run. This could make or break everything, not realising how powerful my deck is. So I'm like, well, what's going to keep me alive? What's the biggest chance of keeping me alive? I'm facing the donuts, so do I want more draw so I can draw into my Apparitions? Do I want more damage? How do I survive? And I'm like, well, I've got Burst, I've got Apparition, do I want a double bullet time? Maybe. I just end up, let's just take double Apparition. Why not? Apparition is the thing that's kept me alive this far, so we'll take that. And then the penultimate enemy. We have no reason to play Apparitions now because they're not attacking. So we're just seeking to deal as much damage as we can. Unfortunately, we get a pretty weak hand, but it's fine. Because we've dealt our marbles and our red mask, the artifact on the eyeball at the back is only 1. So we're going to burst and then double terror. So it actually does take the vulnerable, and then we just deal as much damage as we can. End up going for one of the smaller dudes because it's just nice to get them off the screen. And something like a Blade Dance on a vulnerable eyeball seems pretty tempting. And speak of the devil, double Blade Dance. Yes, please. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, 108, 120. It's only up to 96, but you get the idea. Eyeball goes down. Now we're like, well, I've just got a bunch more damage. Might as well kill the other 2. Why not? See ya. Penultimate enemy dealt with. I'm like, holy shit. This is the fucking run. This is an opportunity. I can finally get out of this hellhole. I can finally beat this challenge. After, I don't know how many attempts, probably like close to 100. So we skip that card. I did consider it. It could be useful with the draw that I have and with bullet time as well. But end up not going for it because it cost 1 and it just didn't seem like worthwhile. Finally, we get an upgrade. How are we going to do it? Wow. Come on. There's only one thing we can upgrade. If you guess bullet time, you're wrong. It's actually acrobatics because we want to draw more. To draw into our bullet time and to draw into our apparitions. Now, because we have red mask and the marbles, they lose all their artifact immediately, which means I can deal a terror on one of these straight off the bat, which is awesome. Now we have the choice of gambling away. So I really need a block. I need a block to survive, but I'm also thinking, well, bullet time could be good. If I can get a big hand, let's do that. I've got all these potions, might as well play them. Cultist potion, stacks of time, might as well play first time. Strength is useful as well, so we'll do that. Then I'm deciding between Decker and Donut. Decker typically I ignore and deal with Donut because I don't like the scaling damage. But then I thought, well, if I'm just going to be intangible anyway, your damage means nothing. But if you're blocking me each turn, then it's going to take longer and I might run out of intangible. So end up focusing down Decker. Play vulnerable first because we can maximize the damage. Turns out we don't get anything more, so we're just going to double Apparition, block their damage, and Blade Dance to deal a bunch of like 60 damage off the bat. Hell yeah. Take 2 damage. Oh no. Free potion? Yeah, go on then. Oh, but first, always draw. Check what we get, because I might not need a potion. Now I'm like, oh, can I kill Decker? Check the potion. Draw some cards. Could be nice. But let's just make sure we survive and deal damage. So, Blade Dance, kill Decker, chilling. But I was also thinking, do I burst? Well, if I burst into Apparition, then I can ensure I survive. But I don't know why I didn't. I actually misplayed that. I could have played way better. But I'm so confident because the deck is just so strong that we're chilling. Get rid of defend, draw, maybe I get some damage. Envenom is kind of nice, not really going to be useful, but it's just a bit extra damage. We will cycle. There's no reason to discard the dazed because like I'm not getting attacked, so the block is irrelevant. Blade Dance, deal a bunch of damage, strike it because why not? Starting to stack the poison. Oh no, it's going to tickle me for 2 damage. Oh no. However, am I going to block it? And I'm like, well, get rid of a single block. We're going to draw, and you see the card. Bullet time, baby. And I'm like, okay, what do we do? Neutralize, strike, strike, strike. Finish him. Oh, after you defend for BM, you know. Finish him. Fatality. The donut goes down, and I pause. I'm like, holy fuck, we fucking done it. That was the run. Oh my god, it's over. Just do a quick overview of my relics and a nice check of the cards so you can all see what I was working with. The apparitions are the thing that won me this run. But then the combos of like just getting really good blade dances and wrist blade and actually useful relics, it was just like, oh, the combo. Ended up being a fucking solid deck. So there's the stats, 960 score. 1 HP. Can you beat Slay The Spire with 1 HP? The answer is yes. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of content, then please let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like. But if there's a high enough demand and there's interest in it, then I might consider making more. Because it's fun. It's fun to do these challenges. It's fun to make content, make nice edited videos and stuff. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.